So, my conclusions. I reinstalled the Huion to give it another try, and I found that the way I have my stylus set up is I have right click menu on the back button and space, which is pan, on the front, so I can move around a drawing. If I get to the edge of what's on the screen, I can press that down, move it, and it'll scroll me across to the next bit. What I found with this was that it didn't work. I was pressing the button, the hand icon was coming up on the screen, but when I went to press the tablet it didn't do anything. However, holding down the space key and just moving this on the tablet worked. So there's obviously an issue somewhere with that. Also, I think maybe there might be an issue with the switch. Sometimes when I was holding that down it would do right click instead, which is that button. So I think there might conceivably be a problem with this stylus. Also, I found it a lot more difficult to control the pressure that I was putting on the tablet than the Deco one. The Deco one, I think because it has that extra travel, admittedly only a millimetre or so, it's easier to gauge the difference. It's easier to make the changes, to differentiate between the different levels of sensitivity. With this one it seems to be very much sort of all or nothing. It's much more it's much more touchy, I would say. So yeah, that's not great, which is a shame, because the tablet's fantastic. It's a lovely smooth surface, it works beautifully. Having these buttons is great. Having these, I suspect the soft keys would be quite useful for one-shot things like running macros to save your work, or to change to brush, or to change these different things. I think that would probably be quite useful, but this isn't going to work for my workflow if I can't use these buttons, if they're not reliable, if the pressure isn't. I probably wouldn't have noticed the pressure if I hadn't just compared it to the Deco one. I would probably have lived with it, but the Deco one was definitely better. Physically they're very similar. They've got the same active area, although the Deco one is, as you can see, quite a bit smaller. If we stand this up on end, you see there's an extra couple of centimetres there, and an extra ½ centimetre or so there, and there. Well, the Huion's probably almost twice as thick. So physically they're very similar. I would have liked more buttons on here, but the ones that are there seem to work perfectly, and I very much like the textured surface. The passive stylus works very nicely, just like a Wacom one. I didn't have any issues with the different keys like I did with that. So yeah, I'll put the links in the description if I can work out how. As you may have noticed, I'm not a professional YouTuber. The Deco 1 came in at, was around about £65 including delivery, and I think it had to come from Germany or somewhere. The Huion was about £45, so a little bit cheaper, not a huge amount. However, having bought both of them, you could buy both of them 2 or 3 times for what it would cost to buy one Wacom. So, you know, there's good value there, really, given that they do seem to work. This stylus issue is not something I've seen anyone else reporting, so I may just have a bad one. It's possible. But yes, so what will I be doing? I think I will be sticking with the XP pen, which I must admit is not what I expected going into this comparison. I very much thought from all the reviews I'd seen online that I would be going with the Huion, but it would seem that is not the case. So if I think of anything else, I'll do an addendum. I'll stick any links I can think of in the description, and yes, there you have my comparison. So for the small amount of extra money, I would say the XP Pen Deco 01 is the better of the two tablets from my very limited testing. Hope this was of some use to you. Bye.